So my speech is really directed today at unmarried youth. What I commonly hear, and messages reach my ears and eyes, is young men, unmarried men, and they are in conversation with unmarried women on the social media, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's the phone, and there's a string of messages. It's literally like luring somebody on, and it continues for a period of time, from a month to a year. Many dreams are dreamt, especially from the ladies' side, because they're good at dreaming, right? But many dreams are dreamt, or many dreams are given, and then the young brother thinks, no, she's not right for me, and he moves on to another sister. This behavior is incorrect. This is not allowed in Islam. You know, if you're ever in a situation where you're about to, or you're texting, or you're contacting a sister who you're not married to, and you want to know if what you're doing is right or wrong, just ask yourself. Your heart will tell you. Are you being sincere? Are you being chaste? Are you being modest? Or is this the nafs which enjoys the chase more than the catch? Is that what's happening here? And that's exactly your heart tells you what you're doing. And this causes many problems on many folds. One of the problems is the youth now, and speaking to brothers at the moment, if you've been contacting a sister and you're giving her this dream that I want to marry you, you've not spoken to your own parents, and you allow this to continue, you break her dreams, it has a psychological effect on that sister. Most definitely does. Some are falling into depression. Some find it difficult to recover. Some, when they go into their marriage, when they eventually do get married, they find it difficult to be with their husband with intimacy because of what the experiences they've had. Whether it's just on word, via text messages, whatever it may be, it has an effect. So you're harming somebody. 2, if you are sincere and you want, there is no harm in you wanting to marry. Right? We're not saying don't get married. If you're intending on a sister and you want to marry her, then you know your parents are going to get involved. Speak to them. Get them involved from the very beginning. If your family, for argument's sake, has an issue with a caste, they're not going to accept somebody from a different caste. And you know that very well. Why are you pursuing this discussion? Why are you hearing people on? It's nothing but haram. Really, that's what you're doing. It may start off innocently, it may start off with good intentions, but it ends up only on bad notes. And it has detrimental effects to the lives of people. Really, you should not be naive. Our sisters are more naive, or very naive. They make mountains out of molehills. You give them one thing, they start thinking a lot. And they dream far quicker than you do. And it causes issues. It causes serious issues. You know, when, if you want to say there's an argument that nafs tells you, right? You know, your nafs, it's powerful. It's a powerful tool. It'll justify to you everything. So one of the justification that nafs gives is, I want to know her a bit better to see if she's compatible. I don't want to go in blind. Right? That's one of the justifications. If that was a true justification, then why didn't you get to know that sister better who you didn't find very attractive? What was it when you found a sister who you didn't find attractive? Fine, no harm. And you said from very beginning, I'm not interested. Barakallah fikum, beautiful. You moved away. Excellent. But why didn't you pursue that sister to see if you're compatible? So let's not go down the road saying, I want to get to know her better. That's not the reason. Then furthermore, when you yourself are chasing this, you're putting up an impression. That's what you're doing. You're trying to impress. And she's trying to impress. So you never actually get to know each other. And Islam doesn't allow that intimacy before marriage anyway. So there's no option. But that you do istikhara, which is the solution. You ask Allah Ta'ala for divine guidance. And you speak to family members, find out people who you know, who may be compatible to you. And you tawakkul upon Allah and you pursue. if for argument's sake we say that, getting to know her better is why I'm doing this because you don't want marriages to break, the truth of the matter is the loose society we live in, where a lot of these discussions take place, it should have resulted in more healthy marriages. But it doesn't. The reality is we have a bigger or higher level of divorces taking place now than before. You have people who spend thousands on their weddings and talaq takes place within a week, within a month, within 3 months. But they were dating, as we may say, for 2 years. So if getting to know a sister was really going to make your marriage better, we wouldn't have high level of divorces. Next, we believe that your partner is decreed. Your children, if you're going to have them, are decreed. The child's mother and father is decreed. So if she is written for you, she's going to be yours. And if you're written for him, he'll be yours. Right? This is what we believe, this is what we teach, this is what we're singing. That we're the slaves of Allah, we have no will, no desire, because where does a slave have a desire before the Lord? In this day's sweetness. So if we truly believe Allah Ta'ala has decreed for us a partner, then you take those steps that will maintain your modesty and chastity from the very beginning. You know your mother and father will have to be consulted. You're not going to get married without them. I hope so. So why don't you consult them immediately? Why is the consulting taking place after a year and a half when you think, I've had it off, maybe I'm not interested no more, let me not tell my mom and dad. And you move on. And it really leaves scars on people. For your own iman and for their iman, be very careful, please. Especially those unmarried youth. My premise which I began, I may seem like I'm telling you off. In truth, what I'm saying is, the nafs is very difficult to tame. It's very difficult to tame. Am I expecting you to be angels? No. Does Allah expect us to be angels? No. It is difficult. You are going to be challenged. Are there solutions? 100% there are solutions. The solutions are in the Quran. The solutions are in the Sunnah. But we don't want to follow the solutions. One solution, really. There's one solution Allah gives in the Quran. It solves all problems, but we're not willing to follow. Allah says, tell the believing men to lower their gazes, and tell the believing women to lower their gazes. And that's where the solution lies. If you lower your gaze, you have no issue. But are you able to lower your gaze? For that then you need dhikr. For that then you need to know Allah. For that then you need to know what's at stake. Looking at haram will lead to my connection with Allah being cut off. Allah is not going to give you gifts upon disobedience. Allah is not going to give you His love upon disobedience. Allah is not going to give you His gnosis upon disobedience. There is so much. If you want to know, read Imam Ibn Ata'illah's works. Read his works. One of the works which is absolutely amazing on this, I can't recall the name of the work of Imam Ibn Ata'illah. I don't know if you know the name. He speaks about, at depth, committing one sin. What is the effect of that sin in the unseen world between you and Allah? And he places so many things: the love of God, the gnosis of God, the connection with Allah, the mercy from Allah, the friendship with Allah. Then when you sin, the darkness that comes, the estrangement that comes, the farness that comes, the lack of mercy that comes, just because of a sin. When a person realizes what's at stake, he moves away. So in order for you to be able to control your gaze, you need to instill your heart and your mind with gnosis of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in order to support yourself, you have to fast. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it's a famous khutbah he used to give on marriage. The imams give, but we don't really know what the imam is saying. Rasulullah used to say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, upon the khutbah of nikah, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab, O youth, male and female. من استطاع منكم الباء فليتزوج. Whoever is able to, let him get married. فإنه أغض للبصر, for it controls the gaze, lowers the gaze. وأحصن للفرج, and it protects your chastity, your modesty, fulfills your needs, and it protects your chastity and your modesty. And whoever's unable to get married, مَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, whoever's unable to get married, فَعَلَيْهِ بِالصَّوْمِ, let him take up fasting. Let him take up fasting. فَإِنَّهُ لَهُ وِجَاء, that will be a guard for you. So the prescription is there. Lower the gaze, and if it's too difficult, take up fasting. Avoid eating meat, avoid eating chicken. Don't eat late, don't eat unhealthy food. Eat light, eat vegetables, because the food that you eat, you're going to take their attributes. Eat little, fast often, and it'll help you in lowering your gaze until you get married. When you get married, you should eat. This is why they give you milk to drink. But really, on a serious note, you're my brothers. I only intend good. I'm not necessarily speaking to anybody here. I'd like this message to go out because I know many brothers and sisters are facing this. If you're intending on marrying, you've seen a sister, you feel that you're compatible in what you see, in her deen, in her lineage, in all compatibility. You know your family's got no issue with her being of a different background. Pursue it with getting your parents involved. Be formal about it. Don't allow dreams to develop. Otherwise you harm yourself and you harm others. And it's nothing other than haram. Nothing other than haram. And that's the age that we're living in. I didn't intend to speak about this, but that so many people have brought this to my attention. It's best if I speak about it generally and allow the message to go to all those who are in need. All of us, I believe. And then there's issues for those who are married. There's many issues on that level. It's the will and desire you must have in order to tame the nafs. It's not an easy job, not at all, by any means. And neither am I saying or expecting an idealistic society where we'll all become awliya Allah, walking, flying in the air. Just realistically speaking, you want to marry, take the real protocol that you need to take and go get married by the permission of your parents. Of course, that's in brackets. I don't want you to go and do nikah and say, Maulana Sahab said, if you want to get married to her, and then forget what your parents have to say. Then they come to me. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullah khair. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل منا يا رب العالمين بجاه النبي المصطفى وبسر سورة الفاتحة.